All right, guys, it is island planting time. I'm going to do things complete opposite that I did in my main food plot here, just to show that there are multiple ways to have success. And obviously the two I'm showing you is only a small drop in the bucket at different methods possible. But this will be like the final walkthrough. And I think you're going to see a vast difference between the main plot and this plot. Poor nutrition is going to rear its ugly head in here, and you're going to see perfect examples of that. So the big thing that I am concerned with is just nutrition level, and it will take care of itself over time, but obviously I'm going to have to keep working this area, building up better soil, keeping the crop rotation going here. And it turned out pretty much how I predicted it would. I figured there would be a lot of 4 to 5 foot tall growth in here. I think on my island updates when I made that prediction, or maybe a few videos below that, but wherever you see the island videos, that's where I kind of made my decision of how I thought it was going to top out. So I said a lot of 4 to 5 foot tall stuff with pockets of 6 foot. And we got our pocket right over here with 6 foot and one small pocket over here. And then there's one more, maybe right over there where a few of them got really close. But anyway, first off, you should probably notice a huge difference in how this plot has performed and how it currently looks right now. A lot of this is laying down almost like it's been crimped, right? It's the same stuff I've got out in my main food plot, but here it is laying over each other. It looks, the color in it's really starting to fade. And granted, with my tractor blowing out that left bearing has really screwed with a lot of timing, and I had wanted this already planted by now. So I'm not going to get my 2-week gap. I managed to get maybe 8 to 9 days max. So weather is going to basically dictate that I do it now. So I finally got it dry enough to where I can bring the tiller through here, and it looks like it shouldn't be nearly as rough. I mean, these seed heads, see, look at how, this is the same cereal rye that I set out in the main plot. So for those of you that's got poor soil, you're really going to struggle, and it's going to look rough. That is pretty pathetic. This is even worse. It had barely enough strength to produce a seed head. And that's the nutrition level issue I have in here. So obviously this ground has a long way to go to elevate itself to something I consider halfway decent, because right now it is not. There's all kinds of clover in here that's lagging behind, or it grew really, really stringy. That is some really weak crimson clover. All this rye is super weak. Look at how thin these stems are compared to my main plot. I had one stem in my rye that would have combined another 15 or 20 of them stems together to make one. I mean, this ground is just that bad off. But you're going to get your final walk through, and I'm going to sow this while it's standing instead of tilling and then sowing. So you're going to get another method. The clover in here actually did pretty good. I threw a lot of ladino in here, crimson. There is some red top in here. I put some the red top in here because deer tend to eat it later, not like they do your ladino or your crimson. It's a later browsing plant, and I did that to hold this place off to keep providing some pretty good food in here. See the chestnut tree right here? He's about to get freed up. Clover here looks pretty good. And now we get over here to where there was a lot more sunlight. And this is why this plot's going to have a harder time performing like I want it to. But look here, right? Much healthier. Stems look thicker. Now this is still not healthy thick like my main plot. This has a long ways to go, but that actually grew taller than me. So this is that pocket of 6 that I thought would happen here. The rest of this is so weak and scrawny and thin that it's just fallen over each other and created its own rotting mat practically at this point. If you had a crimper here, this stuff would probably die pretty quickly because of how weak it is compared to a really healthy stand of food. But it won't take me long. I should be able to knock this out really quick. I may try to leave this pocket of clover here as a holdover, just at least have something in here for now. I probably won't have much success rates here, but I can at least throw some seed in there to get something. I mean, even out here where the road technically is where I added extra food, didn't grow any different. And that's some really compacted soil, and there's no difference between what I did here and out here. But pretty much followed suit for what I was thinking it was going to do. So let's get down here, and I want to talk about the seed. I'm going to use a little bit different strategy here. So I'm had a little peanut spill, but that's all right, they'll eat that. I'm using peanuts as a supplemental feed for now. Super high protein, 36% or even slightly higher is possible with that. But let's get into what I'm going to put out. So the ground needs nutrition, so I'm going to add sun hemp. I'm going to put out deer vetch as my priority plant up here because of the size of this plot and the amount of sunlight in here. I am more likely to have better success across the board with this, and it produces enough tonnage of something 2 or 3 times this size with good soil. So this is one thing that I must have up here. I want a plot that can withstand pressure. Now here's the other kicker, and I know some of you are probably going to scream, fence this off, but I'm going to put soybean in here. And I know darn well that it's not going to do as good as my main food plot. And it may feel like I'm wasting money with the amount of sunlight coming in here. The soybean to me, for this purpose, is an attraction, but it's also a lot of extra protein that the deer don't normally get up here. So I'm going to add that additional protein wherever there is soybean success. That's great, and there's a good chance that this will get annihilated and won't do well at all. So that just kind of proves my point that every situation may involve a different strategy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to sow it fairly thick, and I'll probably do a part 2 to this. I'm also looking for other plants in here to help me out with nutrition, and that would be buckwheat. I need phosphorus levels to get a lot better in here. Those plants are designed to bring that phosphorus out of the ground and help you out. There is one other seed in here, and my main goal is to have some sort of grain up here this year. And the only thing is, do I want milo in here, or do I want to chance it with soybean? So if you think about the percentages, if your deer are literally eating milo plants right out of the ground, you've got some serious problems. So milo is probably going to give me a high percentage chance that it's going to develop up here and give me a grain of some type. So if the soybean fails, this is my backup plan. And that should work well into October. And the bucks will probably come looking for that pretty quickly with the acorn drop. And real quickly, as far as an update for that, I do have some concerns, and I'll bring it up again in another video just because I know new people go in and out of this channel. But I do have concerns that the frost may have damaged some of our white oaks again this year. We had 2 late frost, and it was spotty frost. Some of it looked pretty strong, and there was other places that didn't frost at all. So I'm really hoping that the trees will survive that this year and produce. All right, guys, so I'm going to end the video here, and I will edit in the other part. So hang on, and we'll see how this goes. All right, guys. Unfortunately, because I don't have a good camera holder, I intended to show sowing this and then tilling it down, and I'm just not going to take that risk. But I'll go ahead and tell you, see if I still got him in here. I used, yeah, there he is. I used 1 Ziploc bag, completely stuffed full of soybean, and that amount is spread over the whole island, plus 2 additional handfuls for good measure. I also added, maybe half a bag of sun hemp. I used a full bag, like a Ziploc bag for the deer vetch. I also used about a third of that bag for the milo that I put up here as well. Also, the buckwheat, I used roughly half the bag of that Ziploc bag included. And eventually those buckwheat rates will start dropping if I get enough volunteer seed in here. But this is kind of the issue that you run into when you're doing something like this. You're going to hate trees. And I hate these trees standing here. Trust me, it's a lot easier to maneuver in open space. But that's just the way I'm dealt right now. So everything that I can get tilled is tilled down. Any remaining standing vegetation, I will take a weed eater and cut that down. And it's so weak that it shouldn't try to seed back out or sprout back. It should be basically on the verge of death. Same in here. I'll just weed eat all of that down. Excuse me. Soil looks good here. This is, of course, where the burn pile was. A lot of dark soil. And one of the things that happens when you're tilling is you don't know what you're going to run into when you're dealing with this type of ground. You can see here did well. Well, guess what? I found 2 rocks. Let's see where, here he is. This is one of them. Tiller popped him up right out of the ground. Kind of scared me, but that's the price you pay with ground like this. And that's what the main food plot used to have in it. And there was one more, and it's over there, and I'll go get it here in a minute. But at least now I've got 2 big rocks out of here. Nice divot. We'll just cover that up. But everything in here is sown to the best of my abilities for now. And I keep extra seed to come back up here and touch up what I can. It would have been a lot easier if these stumps had been burned. I can guarantee that. But that'll just have to wait until I get a much better opportunity to do some burning. And I have a feeling weather will be cooperating here pretty soon. So I may get to burn. Oh, here we go. Wrong spot, guys. There's the other one. Goodbye to him. So 1 less big rock, 2 less big rocks, and several medium-sized rocks out of here now. So the root space is even better. And let's hope that there's enough dead material here to help fertilize this soil and make my spring and summer look even better than this. but I'm still very pleased with how all this turned out. Just got to do a lot of maintenance cleanup here, and some of this will get better with time once the stumps are out of the way. The tiller dig deeper here, if I could spit that out. Dig, and I'm not, did dig deeper here. Heck of a tongue twister. And that soil here was actually, even though I've done it before, the soil here was still pretty compacted right in there. So I kind of let that ride a little bit. That was about a 2.5 inch till right there. I did drop it down for that. I mean, I could tell when I come across through there with a tractor, it was like riding on concrete. So that's definitely fixed up temporarily. And we'll see what happens, guys. So good luck to you all, as planting season is maybe on you already, or maybe it's not. But I think this spring and summer blend here ought to do fantastic. So updates will come forth, and I'll tie all this into how deer can get bigger. Of course, that's what my main goal is, to show you how to get them bigger so you can enjoy your hunts more. Or maybe you're just a deer watcher and you want to see just bigger deer on your property, then you can also apply these same tactics. All right, guys, hope you like these videos. Hit that like and subscribe button, and feel free to leave your success stories on there. Love hearing about them. You all have a great day.